everybody, Matumbo here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are playing yet again some more historic here on Magic Arena. And we have another deck that a lot of people have already played. A lot of people immediately went to this archetype as soon as Amonkhet Remastered showed up. And this was a very prevalent deck, very prominent in the scene whenever this was legal and standard. So real quick, before we hop into today's deck, as always, I do want to remind everybody, if you enjoy the channel or just enjoy this video in particular, please hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel immensely. Please hit the like button. Please check out all of the cool links in the description below, as well as joining the Discord, and leave a comment letting us know what you want to see in a future video. So let's hop right into today's deck, and we are calling it Emry's Gift. Now, this deck really centers around trying to get out of God-Pharaoh's gift as quickly as possible. So this artifact is very powerful in the sense that it says, at the beginning of your beginning of combat on your turn, you can exile a creature card from your graveyard. But if you do, you get a 4/4 token that's a copy of that creature, except it's also a zombie, or it is a zombie instead of whatever creature type it is, and it gains haste. So very powerful. The drawback to this being is it does cost 7 mana. However, there is another artifact that goes with it called Gate to the Afterlife that says whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you gain a life, then you may draw a card, and if you do, you discard a card. This helps you draw and discard. We're filtering creatures into our graveyard. But Gate to the Afterlife says for 2 mana, we can tap it and sacrifice it, and we can search either our graveyard, our hand, or our library for a card named God-Pharaoh's Gift and put it directly into play. So we don't necessarily need to get up to 7 mana. We just essentially have to get up to 3 mana to play this, and then have 2 mana at some point to sacrifice it. As long as we have, and the caveat to this is we do have to have 6 creatures in our graveyard in order to activate them. So we have a ton of ways to feed creatures into our graveyard. We're going to go over them. Now, Stitcher Supplier, obviously, this is a very popular card in all types of graveyard reanimation decks. Anytime you are playing black and you need to feed your graveyard, you are most likely playing Stitcher Supplier. We also, because remember, we mill 3 when it comes into play, and we mill 3 when it dies. So that's potentially 6 creatures right there. Stonecoil Serpent. Now, Stonecoil Serpent, at first glance, you may wonder what this is doing in this. This really helps Gate to the Afterlife immensely. So not only is this a creature, whenever it dies, it does trigger Gate to the Afterlife, but unsuspectingly, if we only have 5 creatures in our graveyard and we only have 2 mana available to sack to activate Gate to the Afterlife, at any point we can just play Stonecoil Serpent for 0. It's going to come into play, it's going to die, it's going to go to the graveyard, it's going to trigger Gate to the Afterlife, we're going to draw a card, we're going to discard a card. So again, for 0 mana, this can potentially put 2 creatures into our graveyard if we have a Gate to the Afterlife in play. Or just it by itself going to the graveyard can be the difference between not having God-Pharaoh's Gift in play and having it in play. So we have 4 copies of Meyer Triton. Now, Meyer Triton, again, typically if you're playing black and you're wanting to mill yourself, Mire Triton is going to be your secondary go-to card. It's a 2/1 for 2. When it enters the battlefield, you mill 2 cards and you gain 2 life. And on top of it, it has Death Touch, so it's actually a really good blocker. We have 3 copies of Brain Maggot. Brain Maggot is essentially kind of like a temporary Thoughtseize. We get to look at their hand and choose a non-land card from it, and that card gets exiled until Brain Maggot leaves play. So we're going to hold on to whatever their best card is, and we're going to either force them to deal with the Brain Maggot to get that card back, or sometimes they just can't interact with this card at all. So hopefully that's what we're going for, but again, it really slows our opponents down. Champion of Wits. This card is ridiculous. It used to be so powerful back in Old Standard when this was legal. 3 mana, draw a card. When it comes into play, you draw cards equal to its power, and then if you do, you discard 2 cards. So when you cast it for 3, you draw 2, you discard 2. On top of this, it has the ability called Eternalize. So Eternalize says when you pay that mana cost, you exile it from your graveyard and put a 4/4 token copy of it that comes into play as a zombie. So you get a 4/4 zombie. So essentially you're getting a God-Pharaoh's Gift version of this. So for 7 mana, you get a 4/4. You draw 4 because you're drawing cards equal to its power, and then you're discarding 2. So again, really, really powerful. Just one of the best Eternalized cards there are. Emry really feeds this deck. That's why we are giving. That's why this deck really has. It's her namesake. Emry for 3 mana. She's a 1/2. She actually costs 1 less to cast for each artifact we control. So if we turn 1 Stonecoil Serpent, on turn 2 we can play her for 2 mana. When Emry comes into play, she will mill 4 cards, and then she has an ability that says tap, choose target artifact in your graveyard. You can cast that card this turn. So if we happen to mill a Gates of the Afterlife, which that's what we're really wanting to cast. We want to cast Gates of the Afterlife, so we don't want to cast God-Pharaoh's Gift. So if we mill a Gates of the Afterlife, Emry will allow us to play the Gates of the Afterlife from our graveyard. So really good synergy there. We also have a few copies, 3 copies of Tomebound Lich. Tomebound Lich lets us draw a card and discard a card whenever it comes into play, or it deals damage to a player. Also has Death Touch and Lifelink. A couple copies of Ravenous Chupacabra, kill a creature. 2 copies of Scarab God. Scarab God is super, super powerful. Obviously the best of the gods in Amonkhet. 5 mana, 5/5. For 4 mana, you get to exile a creature from any graveyard and create a 4/4 zombie token copy of it. And if this dies, it actually comes back to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. So really hard to deal with. Really, really powerful. Can really swing a game in your favor very quickly. And then we have 1 copy of Sir Conrad. This says whenever another creature dies or a creature card is put into a graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves the graveyard, Sir Conrad deals 1 damage to each opponent. And Sir Conrad actually will allow us, each player, to mill for 2 mana. So anytime we recur from the graveyard, we get to deal a damage. Anytime we mill creatures into the graveyard, we're going to be dealing damage. So a lot of good synergies there. And on top of that, just to highlight, we are playing the typical 24 land, 2 copies of God-Pharaoh's Gift, because again, we have 4 of these, so we can search them, and we can search them from anywhere. So we don't really necessarily need to have more than 2 God-Pharaoh's Gifts. So, all right, with that being said, let's hop right into the gameplay. Let's see if we can spout off a few wins with this deck, see how this is in the new historic format. All right, so see you guys soon. All right. Today we're gonna play a first draft of an archetype that I used to be a fan of back in again, old standard when this was legal. But this God-Pharaoh's Gift deck, not too sure how it fares now. We go first. Yeah, we're gonna keep this. This looks pretty good. Enclave Mentor, okay. Let's go ahead and get in some damage because we know they're not going to block. So they're going to make a 4/4 or 3/3. Okay, I would have made a 4/4. That's just me though. Let's take a look. Proliferate or an Ajani. Definitely the Ajani. Wow, okay. Interesting. We hit both of our God-Pharaoh's Gifts. We're gonna play Yorva, yep. Okay, proliferate. That's fine. I am going to play one of these. Do we want to draw a card? Yeah, we do. Put that in the graveyard. Yeah, definitely want to draw a card. Let's put that in the graveyard. No attacks. So how many creatures do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do we just need one more creature? Okay, so this is not really going to work out how they want it to. So we are going to be able to, yeah, we're definitely taking action here. Yep. Yep. And yeah. So. Search our graveyard. Search our graveyard. Alright, well, we are going to start off with a Champion of Wits. And we're going to go and get a Lich just because of the lifelink. We're going to discard Ace, Death Touch, lifelink, no attacks. We're going to play this just so we have a cheap blocker. Selected Company. That was a really good draw from our opponent. Probably should have waited though. Alright, well, we are going to... Yep, we're going to get Sir Conrad, and then we're going to get Scarab God, and then we are going to go to town. That was a really, really good first game, because they started out pretty quickly, but we stabilized. And we're going to hydrate. Oh, we clicked the button off, so... Bealds 33. We're going first. This hand's really good if we draw a... If we draw a blue mana. We're going to play this for 1. Because if we draw blue mana, then we can play Emry. You know, get a forest or a swamp. Oh, island. We didn't draw one. It's unfortunate. Don't go island. Okay, that's good. So what are they playing? Kind of weird Bant deck. Perfect. So I mean, we just start getting in. kind of have to worry about the... let's attack. Let's actually play a Champion of Wits. I guess we could have played both. We could have Stitcher Supplier, sacked the Stitcher Supplier. All right. Probably see a Wrath here. They need to hit a land. So I think they're going to top any white land, but they didn't top anything. We have 7 damage here. Still don't want to attack with Emry, even though we don't have anything we could get. Yeah, I still think they're digging for a white land. No, this one. Let's be smart about it. And I mean, might as well. I don't really see the benefit of playing the Meyer Triton right now. Wow. That was sweet. They didn't really do much though. So yeah, so the reason we didn't just play the Meyer Triton there is because we wouldn't have really been able to get anything back. We didn't have any of our artifacts in the graveyard. So yeah, it was just better that we recur our only artifact creature in the graveyard instead of just leaving us empty-handed in case they would have wrathed us there. Yeah. Golden Sejiro. Sejiro? We go first. Okay, well, we're probably going to get aura'd out of this game. Oh, puppy. Puppers, puppers, puppers. Is that a person making that noise? Ooh! Ooh! Oh, what a weird noise. What a weird noise for a dog to make. No, we're not gonna play Stonecoil yet. Oh, so they're not playing auras. Plus, I'm glad we actually didn't. We get to take a peek. Yeah, I guess we have to take that, right? And that's fine. If they want a Dreadhorde Butcher, we'll just... I mean, we're going to block it. Or do we? Yep. You can have your village rights back. Yeah, and I think we're just going to go ahead and get down this gate to the Afterlife. We're going to play Stonecoil for 4. Maybe it's better to play it for 3. I'm not sure. But Scarab God's going to come down on turn 5 and hopefully help close this game out. Okay, well, I was wrong. Claim to Fame is a really good magic card. Now we just have to hope that they don't have a Claim the Firstborn. I don't think we can recover from a Claim the Firstborn, and they have it. 7/8. And they get to sack that. That's so freaking stupid. And they play their other fiend. They had 2 fiends there. We're going to play this to gain a life. Oh, well. We lose. We are the losers. Golden Shijiro. You had Exacxies. Exacxies, my friend. Yeah, like I had mentioned right before it happened, if they had to claim the Firstborn, we could not really recover. It was just too much of a swing. But if they had not had it, we would have steamrolled that game. Like, I don't really think they would have been in that game at all. Is this a hand we want to keep? No? Is this a hand we want to keep? Yep. What do we put back here? No, that's a weird choice. Okay, well, need to hit some land. No, not that land. That'd have been a great land to have. No, you're just playing goblins? Yep, we know you can take back whatever card it is, but we're still going to play it. It's fine, we still get to see your hand. No attacks. This is going to be a hard game to win. Yep. They're just going to ramp up for the... eventual Muxus that's coming. Take one, my friend. Take one. So here comes a Skirk Prospector. I think I'd play the Skirk Prospector. I don't think I would have done that. I would have played the Prospector into the Snoop. Gain a little bit of life. It's not the card we wanted to see in the graveyard. Oh, again, we hit another one. So now it's going to start spiraling out of control. So, again, I think they would have been in a much better board state. Guess so. Oh, yeah, we lose. Into Prospector. Then you have to into Krenko. Well, and they can sack 1, 2, 3. Krenko. Oh yeah, they can just use it. Oh my gosh. That's dumb. Well, we're gonna concede this one, my friends. We're not gonna let them dirtle us to death. Again, unfortunate. Goblins is still a thing. Wizards, fix this, please. Oh, I hate goblins. And how have we not seen any of our Chupacabras yet? What are we, 2 and 2 right now? So we played 4. Oh, of course. Of course, right? Right as we say it. I think we drop a Stonecoil for 2. Oh, Grixis. Guardian Idol, okay. That was a perfect draw right there. No creatures yet, no creatures. So they potentially have a Nicol Bolas next turn. Oh, wrong card. There we go. One, two, three, 4. Oh, that hurt really bad. That hurt much bad. That's all we needed. Yeah, I guess we just go ahead and get another Emry. This is 8 damage. Ooh, 4 basics. Or 6 damage, actually, because we just played the Meyer Triton this turn. Wow. So another extinction event there for 0 would have been... that would have been our whole board. So, wow. So we actually turned an extinction event around and brought out God-Pharaoh's gift in the same turn, or the immediate turn after that. Okay. Yeah, we're really looking for some good ideas for some new decks. Can it to win it. Okay. Ooh, we go first. I like this hand. I like this hand. I feel like we're playing against zombies. Or not zombies, goblins. Yep. Because of those sleeves. What tax? They'll probably play Snoop here. I doubt they sack to go play their war chief. Could be wrong. Oh my god, really? That's ridiculous. Here comes the Hump War Chief. Wow. 3. I would have just sacked there. All right, well, here comes the old Shaney boy. Shaney boy. Oh, that's pretty good. Absolutely. 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 Going to the graveyard. Oh, that was a good one. So we're gonna get a oh my gosh, goblins conceded against us. Because they saw our friend the Scarab God coming back next turn and then turning into another creature also. And then, yeah. But again, they conceded way too early. They were still in a very commanding position. They were going to be able to start making their goblins a lot bigger. They just should not have conceded there. I felt like they were still pretty much in the driver's seat of that game. We were still very defensive. I mean, yeah, they should not have conceded. Yep. Scoffled. Scofloat. This is a slow hand, but it's got the cards we want in it. got a little bit better. Charming Prince. So we're just playing like an Esper Yorion deck, but without actually playing Yorion in the sideboard. Okay, I don't know why you would necessarily take that. I think it's right to brain maggot them right here. Don't really care about Massacre Worm. Wow. Yeah, that was that was going to be pretty difficult for them to win there. Yeah, I think that was really the best card we could have taken. So yeah, being able to actually flip that turn right after a Thoughtseize. Yeah, I was actually pretty happy with that. Obviously, because we won, but it does show the versatility of the deck. All right, everybody, welcome back. Wow, that was a lot of fun. We saw some really good draws. We saw how quickly we could get a God-Pharaoh's Gift into play. Again, I think the fastest we put one into play was turn 4, which is really powerful. Typically, if you can have a 7-mana artifact, typically 7-mana artifacts are going to have really good abilities, and if you can have one in that quickly, you're most likely going to win the game. I'm sure it is possible to have a God-Pharaoh's Gift in play sooner than that if you're playing mana ramp and you get really lucky off of like some Stitcher suppliers and whatnot. But I really feel like turn 4 is probably the fastest you can do it in this deck. But yeah, everything in this deck works out really well. Now, the only card I'm a little hesitant, well, there's 2 cards I'm really hesitant about. That is Sir Conrad. I know he's a 1-of, so we didn't really get to utilize him at all, I don't think. So he's going to be very situational. We're either going to win or lose without him 99.9% of the time. But the other card I'm just kind of, well, the other card I'm really kind of iffy on is the Tomebound Lich. Now, I do 100% understand that it's good in this deck because it draws a card, you discard a card when it comes into play. You also get to potentially attack and do that again. It is constantly fueling the deck. However, I don't necessarily think this deck needs it. It's good to have the Death Touch and the Lifelink also, but I just don't think that this deck, I think there's a better card for this deck. And I think that card is going to be the Ghostly Pilferer. So this Ghostly Pilferer in this deck actually lets you discard a card to make it unblockable. So you don't always necessarily need to be drawing cards in this deck. Sometimes you just want to discard. So this is actually a limitless discard, and it's only limited to the number of cards in your hand. So I could potentially see playing another version of this deck in the future and playing this instead of the tome-bound Lich. Just because, like I said, we could discard more than one card in a turn. And this is a 2/1, potentially unblockable. And if we were kind of stumbling, we can attack with it, make it unblockable, then the next turn untap it, pay 2 mana to draw a card. So I think that this deck actually wants to be playing Ghostly Pilfer. So that is my thoughts on that. But other than that, no, this deck is great. This deck is a lot of fun. It's a little expensive to play. You obviously want to play Scarab Gods. You don't need Scarab Gods, but the deck is, I would say, twice as powerful just with 2 Scarab Gods. And then the rest of the cards are relatively easy to get. There's not that many rares in this deck in regards to other decks, which have tons of rare mythics. So, but yeah, again, if you enjoyed this deck, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below letting us know you made it to the end of the video and letting us know what you want to see in the next video or in a very near future video. And also check those links down below. There are a lot of cool links in the description, and join the Discord. That is what I am wanting. So yeah, all right guys, I hope you enjoyed the deck. I hope you are having a great day. Please, please, please stay safe, and we will see you next time. Remember, this channel would not exist without such amazing viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for interacting with the channel and helping grow the community. And a very big special thank you to the Patreons listed here for supporting the channel.